letter from the Speaker is around announcements of policy. They're going to change things that then are done before the House has been able to see that and then react and to scrutinise. And the example that was given, I'm just going to pick this out for time, on Thursday the 3rd of July, the government announced its 10-year plan for the NHS. A statement was scheduled in the House. However, as you were on your feet doing business questions, the Prime Minister, Health Secretary and the Chancellor were in East London launching the policy at a press conference. Why was the press conference held in the morning prior to the statement to the House? That press conference could have been held in the afternoon. That press conference should have been held, as per the Ministerial Code, in its first instance in Parliament. That was not compliant with the spirit, the intention and the word of the Code. You've made a number of times the feeling known that you don't know why you're here. And
that is absolutely not a feeling I've made.
That's my take.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if you've had that impression,
that's my
because
take.
That is not. I am really happy to be here and to
in that case, my
things.
take is that you don't seem to see why you're here.
No,
so
that's not at all.
On that question,
that's not at all.
What happened for that instance for the 10-year plan, and how do you stop it happening again?
Okay, the 10-year plan, which was a 169-page document, I think, was published to the House first. It wasn't given at that press conference. It wasn't the document itself. It wasn't a press conference about the whole document. It was a press conference about sort of plans for the NHS. But I take your I don't not take your point, and these are balances to get right. But the plan itself was published to the House. The statement was advertised to the House that morning, so colleagues had time to go to the vote office, get the full document, prepare, look at page 89 and find something in it that they didn't like, or they wanted to ask questions about, and put those to the Secretary of State, who then his oral statement, I think, lasted for about 2 hours, and obviously every colleague got in on that. So I understand what you're saying completely, and I really don't want to have given anyone the impression I do not want to be here. I'm here, and I'm here for a good long while, and I'm happy to do that, because I think these really are important matters to discuss and debate. I think I'm just trying to make the point that these things are subjective to some degree. There are trade-offs. We are endeavouring to do that in a way that balances the needs of members to have adequate time to study such documents, and therefore come in and ask of a statement, and for notice to be given of that statement in advance to the House, so that people can be aware and be around and all of that kind of thing as well, versus the need to kind of do media and trail things in the media and have media moments as well, because obviously you couldn't have a joint occasion of the Prime Minister and the Chancellor and the Secretary of State all appearing at the dispatch box simultaneously, could you? Because that's not how we work.
You could have had that after.
You could have had that after, look, that's something we constantly sort of stress test and consider, like the logistics of that. The perhaps the reverse of that would be that obviously parliamentary business is not as predictable. So let's say that day there'd been a press conference with the Prime Minister and the Chancellor and at a hospital kind of nearby London, booked in at 2:00, and 2 urgent questions had been granted, and then we'd had business questions, and then we'd had a statement from the Secretary of State. That statement, either he would have missed the press conference altogether, or he would have asked the Speaker to curtail that.
It was a logistics thing to get the message out first and allow them to then come to the chamber to give the announcement.